Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the best podcast on planet Earth, Dark Screen Society. And we have a special episode for you today. It's The Last of Us, episode 1. And we got our lovely hosts today. We have Seth, who's low key fucking dying right now. Say hi, Seth.
Morning, everyone.
Dude,
Struggling.
Seth is struggling. So everybody be gentle with him and go give him well wishes. He's having a major migraine right now. So we love you for even showing up. Dude, if I was you, I'd be like, do not disturb. Don't talk to me. And we have Chuck.
Good morning, everyone. I would have stayed under the covers with that migraine, so I commend you for being here, Seth.
And Brian.
Hello. You're a real warrior, Seth.
You are. Brian's on his lunch break from work. Dude, trying to schedule a podcast when you have somebody who lives in a fake country, in a country that doesn't exist.
Maybe if you guys didn't sleep so much, we could have done this earlier. But...
Yeah.
Listen, it's 6 a.m. my time. Okay, I'm the early one here.
Okay.
Dude, it's crazy. But thanks for joining. So, okay, for our Last of Us, we are going to be covering The Last of Us through the entire season. So our episodes are going to be, our release times are going to be a little different. So thank you for bearing with us because we record them first thing in the morning, since that's Brian's lunchtime and our wakey up time. We are going to be dropping these like Monday, like later morning, or like, I guess, early morning, just depending on your time zone. So just a little FYI, but we're excited to be back. I feel like I haven't seen you guys in like 10 years and I miss all of you. But without further ado, dude, let's jump into episode 1. So a little recap. Chuck and Seth have played the game, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Many
Brian.
times.
Oh, okay. Many times. Brian, have you?
About half the first one.
Okay. Only, but not the second one.
No idea what happened.
Okay, same.
You have
no.
I fucking
I love that.
I love the fact that you have no fucking clue. Like I put a post up yesterday and all the people that like have no clue, like it's more fun to wait till you know than to even experience the show because you have no fucking clue.
When I woke up this morning to like 32 messages in the group chat, I was like, see if one of these motherfuckers have spoiled something that happens in this show.
No, I know. Oh my God, Brian, I did the same thing because it's like, you know, you can also read between the lines when like you get like, because I have like a speculation, like I have like obviously like multiple theories, but it's like you guys can confirm if the theories are right. So don't just blank faces. You can't give me any nods to if my theories are correct. But I am low-key thinking of playing the game while the show is going on, but I don't know if that's a good idea or a bad idea.
It honestly helped a lot playing because I played like an hour and like 60 minutes or an hour and like 50 minutes or something like that the other day. And it was literally the entire first episode.
Oh shit.
So it was very helpful because like they pulled things straight from the game that I was like, oh, they actually like toe to toe were like right with the game.
They did. They pulled some stuff. Everything was right. That's what I was most impressed with, how they conveyed the game to film, which is way better than any episode in season 1.
Oh, for sure.
And they also took some things out to speed up the timeline, which was a little jarring to me, but it conveyed very well.
And we'll get into that because I actually like some of the things they changed.
Agreed. I'm with that as well.
Ooh, okay.
It's not a spoiler if we say it.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. I'm so curious because I've never watched any of like the interviews or anything. And then we went to that little press thing at like South by, we were only there for like 5 minutes, but I'm so curious if the cast have played both games.
I know Bella did. I think she came out and said that she played both games, and I'm pretty sure Pedro did as well.
He did not. He did not, and the reason that he did not is because he has so much respect for the voice actor who played Joel that he wanted to do his own interpretation and not like mimic that performance, so he chose not to watch it because he wanted it to be like his own thing, which turned out really fucking good.
So the voice actor is in an episode of season 1. Does everybody know who he is?
Yeah.
Yes, the one of David's, the freak.
So it's the voice of Ellie.
Yeah, she's Anna, right? Or Anna?
She was
the mom.
The mom, yeah.
Yeah, she's the mom. I wonder if there's going to be any cameos in like the Last of Us season 2 of any of the
Troy Baker is the voice of Joel Miller,
Yes.
who's one of the
There you
most
go.
legendary voice actors in video
he's-
game
he's-
history.
If you ever played a video game, you probably have heard Troy Baker and just didn't. Like, oh.
Yeah.
As Indiana Jones is fantastic as well. I don't know if you guys
He is.
played that.
He is in the Golden Circle is fantastic. Agreed. He was also the voice of all the Bioshocks as well.
Oh shit. Okay.
Of Booker.
Legend.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's yeah, because I was curious if they've ever played it. Okay, so let's break down the episode. We're gonna kind of do this in chunks. So the start of this is gonna be so fun because you guys know and we don't know. And I completely forgot that Caitlin Dever is in this season. Like I just wiped from my memory. Like when I saw her on screen, I was like, oh yeah, duh. Okay, so it opens up with The Last of Us season 1 ended with Joel retrieving Ellie, and we're kind of in this moral battle. Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? Because he obviously didn't want Ellie to die, because if she were to come up with the cure, if she were to help with the cure, she would obviously die. How do we feel about this? In my mind, Joel did nothing wrong.
Yeah, I didn't even cross my mind that he may be the bad guy until you said it right there. I was like, is he a bad guy?
Chuck has a polarizing opinion on that, but I will say I think he did the right thing. If I was in his shoes, I don't think I could lose another daughter.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Okay, Chuck, how do you feel?
I love Joel Miller with my whole entire heart, but he's a horrible human being. Like
Take that back.
I think what he did, I think if I was in that position, I would probably did the same thing. Like, because I get the grief, and he found Sarah through Ellie, and the development of that is beautiful, but he had an opportunity to save the world, like literally save the entire world, and he chose not to do that, which I admire. But if you really break down the character of Joel Miller, he's a heartless, cold-blooded fucking killer. Like, I understand it's for like survival stakes, but like he makes a life off of robbing and murdering people. So the fact of loving somebody like that is to the brilliance of Neil Druckmann, because he's written so fucking polarizing and well.
Yeah, I see no wrong, but but I get it.
Do you think that like she is the cure? Like, do you think that they could have actually used her for a cure? That's the thing too. We don't know.
That is what is interesting. And I don't know, because I never played the game, and I don't know if they ever like finished up the storyline in the game, but because they still don't even, like, in the first season, they don't actually know why she is immune. They just speculate why she's immune, because her mom Anna was bit during childbirth. So maybe these cordyceps grew with her, or maybe it was because she was an infant and she learned how to fight it off. But that's still an interesting. We still don't know. They don't know either.
So they could test that. They could just get women pregnant and then let them get bit and see, like, if your baby's immune.
Yeah, you know what? That seems ethical. So just line up some pregnant women.
Exactly.
Very, very ethical.
Solved. There you go.
Problem solved. Okay, so season 2 opens with, we kind of get a little recap of that, and we see that Ellie is there. There are some seeds of doubt sowing into Ellie about her doubting Joel for the very first time, because since this entire time, that has been her savior, her comfort person, like her rock, and would never do anything wrong by her. But now we can see that she is like, wait a second, maybe this guy is not the guy that I think that he is. Or just like those rose-colored glasses are coming off. If you were Ellie, would you guys be upset?
Ellie didn't know. Like, she was just told she's the cure, as far as I'm aware. She wasn't told this is how we're going to get the cure.
Yes.
So I don't know if she was told that, or if they just
they lied. The Fireflies completely lied to her.
Yes.
Like, she didn't know when she was going under that she was never coming back.
That she was like gonna die.
She definitely didn't know that.
I'm curious if she just like maybe thought that was like a possibility. Because but I guess it's like, how would you know that? How would you know?
You would assume they would like take blood or something first and try something.
Yeah,
blood,
not like we're going to open up your
brain. Yeah.
All right, goodbye. You're never coming back.
I think she would have done it if she was given a choice, but that would be like a whole episode on her moral quandary of doing that.
Yeah. Because I think she would have too. Like, I think if she knew that she was going to die, I still think that she would have done it.
Right, but it's not, I mean, that's what makes it so brilliant and why so many people
Yes.
fell in love with these characters, because they're in such a state of disarray with this outbreak and everything that happened in the situation that they're in. There is no ever, and it's every character, like from Joel to Ellie to every single character that you're introduced is in such a state of emergency that you have to make these split decisions to just do it. So it's like, okay, you're immune. We don't know fucking why, but we think that we could do this. So we're just going to have to do this, which leads to Joel's decision of there's no thought process in that. It's like, I love Ellie, fuck you, I'm killing everybody. You know what I mean? So it's like, it puts you in that, like that real time of like how you would make decisions if you're in a situation like that, which is helps the narrative move forward as well.
Yes. Okay, so we get those doubts sowed within Ellie, and then this is where you meet Caitlin. Is it Dever? Am I saying it right?
I always say
Yeah,
Caitlin.
Caitlin.
Dever.
Is it Dever?
I thought it was Dever. I'm not sure, but the last couple of videos I watched, everybody said Dever.
Caitlin Dever or Caitlin Dever? Caitlin Abby?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Abby.
So this is when we're first introduced to Abby, who seems like a badass bitch. Like, she seems vengeful.
To be fair, that's her
And
character and everything. Like, she's one of the most talented actresses out there
Oh,
just now, I'd say.
she is absolutely incredible. I wish that we would see her more, but I'm glad that we get to see her like played out and in a series where she just gets like what I'm going to assume is a ton of screen time. But so it opens up. We know that Joel has killed, I almost said unalived, thank you, TikTok, has killed all of the fireflies at the hospital. And so when we open up, there's like they're mourning the loss of all the fireflies. So it seems like these are people of the fireflies, which also one of the guys in there, I don't know what his name is, but is it this guy, Spencer Lord? No, I don't think that's him. But one of the guys in there is from the movie No Exit on Hulu, which is really good. But we see that she's mourning somebody. You guys know who that is.
No
right?
comments.
Okay. I have my theories on maybe who it is, but I didn't want to like look it up because obviously it was going to be confirmed. Yeah.
Don't do it.
Don't do
Obviously it was going to be confirmed for me who it is.
And it's different, like the way that it conveyed in that episode, because they specifically revealed who she's upset with.
Yes.
And
which I didn't like.
No, I did not like that neither. It's that's the biggest difference from the game, because the game, like, so you have that scene where they have the crosses, there's mourning the fireflies, she's talking to her band of people, and she directly says who she's looking for, who she wants to find. They have a conversation about it. You literally in the game are introduced to this character, and you sit with that character for a good
hour,
if not maybe a little bit longer than that. But like it played, like in video game time, that hour plays out, it feels like 6 hours. So there's a lot of mystique and development to that character.
Like, who is this? Okay.
In the show, I was a little jarred by the fact that they're just like, okay, this bitch wants to do this to this person. And I was just like, I was kind of like shocked by that, but I get why they did it.
Okay. So that makes sense. Yeah. And if it was me playing this video game, I probably wouldn't get there until like 7 hours later. I'm so slow playing games. Okay. And then she's like, we're going to kill him slowly. And I was like, okay, so whoever she has lost is obviously somebody that's so impactful in her life that she is like, I want to torture this man's. Interesting. Okay. This man's. And then we're 5 years later. And we are at the Wyoming compound, which is so beautiful. They filmed it in Canada, right?
Yeah, they did.
They built the set and everything.
God, oh my God.
I even talked about that in my video. I was so blown away because like I've been following, so I've seen like clips and how they release behind the scenes set photos and stuff like that. But when she opened the barn And it literally sent chills down my spine to see her walk into that world that I know so well from that game, because it is it's the exact fucking replica of what that time, because when you're in Jackson in the game, you spend a significant amount of time in that world. Like that whole scene from her opening the barn to with being with Dina and dancing, that plays out over the course of maybe an hour and a half. Like it's long, so there's a lot of dialogue and things, and it's very sped up in the show, which I didn't mind. But to see that world, to how they, like even the signs, like whenever they go on the mission to that grocery, it's in the game. You know what I mean? Like, and it looks exactly like it, which I love that because I love the game.
Yes. I love that they are so, like, even though I didn't play the game, I love that they're so, like, conscious of, like, okay, we're gonna put these things in here for the video game lovers, like, just so that it feels very reminiscent and you get that, like, exciting, feeling where you're like, "This feels like playing the game."
It does, because and this is just like a little piece that you guys might not be aware too for not playing the game, but in the whole first game, there was no vertical Ellie. Like Ellie couldn't do things like to go up, and that was a big difference of the second game, because the second game became more vertical. So like when after they found the bear and everything, like when she traversed the truck and like climbed up on the front of it into the window, I was like, that was like that new thing that the second game gave you, because you could not only just be stuck on the ground, that you could go up. And then they took it a step further, because when they're in they first go in, they show the Bud Light bottle. Shout out Bud Light, you can sponsor us. We'll
shout out.
But that was a big thing of like dealing with the clickers and stuff, because they go by noise, and then they focused in on a bottle, and then she ended up picking it up. And like there's so many little nods like that to the people that love that game that I appreciate so much, because it makes you feel like you're in that world.
That's what I remember from the first game, is that, like, obviously throwing the bottle and then trying to distract people, or throwing it off people's heads, depending on how you play the game. But
that would be me.
Like, I was surprised that wasn't in the first season, because obviously they got rid of that. They got rid of Joel's super hearing, or whatever the hell his ability is. Obviously, I can understand why they don't use that in the show, because it would, how would you explain that? But yeah, I appreciate them doing a little nod for the gamers.
And we got the workbench where they can, like, where she's like fixing up her pistol. Like, that's in the game too. Like, it looks exactly like it was pulled from the game, with her like working on her gun. I thought that was cool.
Oh my God, that's so okay. I love that, but that makes a huge difference, because when I was watching it, and we'll backtrack a little bit, like, before the grocery store, but when I was watching the grocery store scene, because I loved all of it, because it's, like, obviously, like, so beautiful and stunning, and it looks creepy with, like, the bloody handprint, but I was like, they are lingering on this scene for quite a bit. But now it makes sense, where it's like, that is a pivotal part of the game, where it's like, oh, well, she can fucking explore, dude. Like, she can crawl up these things. So that is I love that you brought that up, Chuck, because I did not know that. That's awesome.
That whole scene, even her falling through the roof, was pulled straight from the game.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
And that grocery store scene in the game is, I don't want to say drawn out, but the tension that they build, and there's also something that they changed in that as well, which I think is for the better and cool, because the little thing that's crawling in there that's completely new. Like the development of that introduction of that new version of clicker thingy.
Oh, okay. So I want to put a pin in that. We're going to come back to it, because I want to go back to the beginning, where we're like, we're meeting Ellie. We're meeting 19-year-old Ellie after these doubts are sown into her about Joel, and we can tell that their relationship is strained. Like, he goes to therapy with this Gail woman, which Catherine O'Hara. Oh my God, she's phenomenal. I fucking love her in here. Is she a character in the game?
She's new.
Okay, so she's new. Okay.
There's a whole entire scene. This is not a spoiler, but there's a whole entire scene where Dina and Ellie go on an adventure, and then they end up in this like pot factory, like a marijuana, like a growery. And that's where you first understand that they kind of like have a thing for each other. It's also the first reveal of Ellie's interests, of which way she swings,
Uh-huh.
because you don't kind of know. You like there's hints to it, but this is the first time you really find that out, which
Yeah.
is very impactful.
Mhm.
And her husband, Catherine O'Hara's husband, existed, but you never seen him in the game. Like you never
You see a photo of him.
yeah, but
Got
you
it.
never like dealt
No.
with him. But he's going to be so they may flash back to this because he's going. Joe Pantoliano is
Uh-huh.
playing him,
Uh-huh.
so he's going to be introduced into this just the same way that in episode 4 in season 1 with
Uh-huh.
the two guys,
Yes.
that was never in the game.
Episode 3. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
with Bill and Frank.
Like
Yeah.
Bill
Yes.
was in the game, Frank was only mentioned, and there was like a letter from Frank and things, but you never met Frank, you never knew what his character was like or anything. And when they drew that out for arguably the best episode in
Yes.
television history, I imagine that when they develop Eugene and what happened there with Catherine O'Hara, they're going to do something similar to that, is the feeling that I got.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, because they changed his storyline completely, which I'm excited for.
Completely. I agree.
Okay.
I think it's a good change.
Mhm.
Okay. I love that, knowing that, because I knew kind of that like Bill and Frank weren't really in the game, but I didn't know like that's what it was, where it's like they were just mentioned, but then they just drew this whole storyline for them for the
Well,
show.
Yeah,
Bill very much
Yes.
Bill very much was.
Yes.
He was
but
like a huge part of their journey.
Yes, but as far as like Frank, like their
Mhm.
backstory and seeing this like humanity within this apocalyptic world, it was like so needed for the show, because the show is so fucking sad and dark all the time that you're
It
like, give
is.
me something. But even
Before you-
their story was still sad.
Before you continue, Gigi, because I
Yeah.
wanted to bring this up too. Two things. One, Caitlin Dever, who plays Abby, is phenomenal. I thought
Yes.
she, like, embodied that character so well. But the one thing, because this is like early on in the episode, is the interaction between Joel and Dina, which
Yes.
also wasn't in the game very much. And I really liked that they're building their relationship up in the show and
Mhm.
showing us their relationship, because we never got that in the game. We just knew that they were kind of friends. So it's really cool that we got that aspect.
Joel had taken when Joel got to Wyoming, because Tommy like kind of Gabriel Luna kind of got with his wife and everything, he kind of got wrapped up in the politics of like Jackson.
Mhm.
So he's like busy. But whenever Joel got there and his relationship with Ellie and him learning to have compassion again for like loving Ellie as his daughter, he kind of, and they showed you that like when he was fixing that thing at the table when she came in and said, "Can you teach me?" which was not in the game. But Joel has taken on the role in that town of kind of like the protector, the father figure, the
Yeah.
uncle, which gives even more humanity to such a terrible human being.
Yes, yes. That's what I was watching with Zach, and I was like, he's giving dad, not
Mhm.
daddy. He's
Yeah.
giving dad. like, like he clearly, they even changed like his look. Like he just looks softened. Like his
Mhm.
hair is done. Like he's got the glasses. He literally looks like so sad. Like he was this hard, rugged, like pissed off smuggler in, season 1. And we see him soften, obviously, but you can really see him like he's not hardened anymore. He is melted. So I loved that interaction between him and Dina, because it's like you could see, and even when he's like, "Hey kiddo," like so soft and gentle. But I love Dina. She is absolutely incredible. So I'm glad to hear that like we can see that interaction more.
Do you wanna say what you said in the group chat about 23-year-old Dina?
Yes.
Gigi?
Yes.
What can I do?
Yeah. I actually don't even remember what I said. I just said I could have played Dina.
Yeah.
You could have.
I could have.
Isabel Merced's a star. She's
And
great.
she's the actual character of Dina. So there was a lot of, and this is just for the audience that hasn't played the game. I think this goes to be mentioned. The brilliance of The Last of Us 2, which when it came out was significantly hated on. It was review bombed. I mean, they crushed it on Metacritic. And the reasons for that was one, the appearance of Abby, which they did change because Abby in the game was jacked. Like I'm talking like jacked like Chris Jericho jacked. Like jacked like
Holy shit.
No, like she was a force.
Yeah.
And they toned that down. And I was like, it was jarring to see her. but as soon as she spoke, I was like, this is fucking Abby. Like, look, I got goosebumps from thinking about it because it is Abby.
Yeah.
And Dina is Dina, but obviously all these scum people in the world that don't do inclusivity or anything like that. We're like, oh, why does Ellie have to be gay? This is some woke nonsense. This is, and it got crushed like that. And they overlooked how fucking beautiful it is that people in such a situation find love. Because if you're getting the theme of everything, love is the only answer to the situation that everybody's in.
Yeah.
So that introduction of Dina and these characters only enhances the story on such a magnitude. Like Dina's a very, very, like, you guys don't know this yet. Like, you could tell, but like, she's a very integral, important character. They're all important, but she's a very important character.
Yes.
And one thing to note on top of that too, and that like love story is like in the game versus like what we're getting in the show is that it's like they're more so flashbacks in the show versus it being front and center now, which is I think also a huge service to people watching the show because I think it does a better job of showing that like romance kind of like blustering and like forming there versus when it did in the game.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Okay, so we get that Ellie and Joel are kind of they're strained, and we're assuming, well, because Gail is like pressing him, like, what is it? What did you do? What did you? And I loved that scene and like the camera angles that they did where it was like just their close-up face. It was so fucking intense. And Pedro Pascal, I thought he did so good because facial acting is so hard. Like it's you don't think about it until you watch somebody that can't do facial acting, like, and then you're like, oh, he showed so well that it was like crossing his mind where he's like, I know what I did and I'm still not going to admit to it. Like, I don't think what I did was wrong because he clearly says I saved her. Like, I didn't lie to her. I didn't like do this. Like, I saved her. And I fucking agree, Joel. You saved her. And then that's when we get to the supermarket, which is that was such an intense scene. I loved this scene because, and I feel like you guys know why I loved this scene so much, is because when we get to the supermarket, which Chuck, you already covered, like, now she can move vertical, which is crazy. But I love that. Okay, one thing I just didn't really quite understand was why they were trying to like stab them. Like, why didn't they just shoot them? Was it because it just wouldn't
It's noisy.
draw sound? Okay.
It makes less noise. Like because the game pushes you more into
Stealth.
The more stealthy you are, the less danger you're in.
Got it. Okay. And then I had a question about the bottle, but now that makes more sense. Like as a game player, because I was like, why were they like, here's this Bud Light bottle? But when I feel when she drops down into the supermarket and we're introduced to this fucking terrifying cordyceps that is like so, dude, so stealthy and creepy and crawling on its all fours. Is that a part of the game?
Yes, it is, Chuck. It's called the Stalker, and that's the first time they name drop it in the show too.
Oh, okay. Because we have like clickers, we have bloaters, now we have
stalkers. There's different names. There's so many different versions of the infected. But the stalkers are like they're like the form before turning fully into the clicker.
Okay.
But it does not come across that way in the game.
Got it. Okay.
I legit thought when we first see it and it's just in the back, I was like, oh, it's just a monkey. So I was like, oh, it's nothing really scared of. Because it legit runs like a little monkey. And I was like, oh, that's cute.
I wish that they would have done a fake out. And she's like, oh, it's actually just a monkey.
Yeah, really cute monkey. And that's now part of the show. And everyone's like, why is there a fucking monkey in it now?
Oh, we need them to rewrite it. But okay, but then the most important part about it is two things. One, Ellie gets bitten. This seems like a very very important thing that happens. And this has crossed my mind. And again, I haven't played the game, but when she gets bitten, it's like they linger on this, that she gets bitten. And I'm like, I feel like just because you're immune, you shouldn't just be getting bitten willy-nilly. Like that seems not
It's
good.
Gonna play different than the way you think it's gonna play out.
Okay.
No, but nobody knows. Like Joel knows, Tommy knows.
Yes.
I'm assuming Tommy's wife knows because Tommy tells her everything.
Yes.
And Dina knows.
Not yet.
Not yet, but
Ooh.
she kind of does.
Who did her tattoo? Because surely they would have noticed.
Oh, yes, that was
Well, no,
that
because she said because her whole thing was about being burned.
Oh, she told them she was born.
It's
Yeah.
why how her arm was all messed up, and that's why
Makes
she got
sense,
the tattoo to cover the thing. So they made up like a lie of why that was there, but that's also why she did the bathroom scene with the knife to cut the bite mark into something different and stitch it up. That way it
Yes.
doesn't look like a bite mark.
I think
Yes.
it's gonna come
it'll
into
bring attention.
I think it'll come into play in the next episode.
Mhm.
Okay.
I think the fact that the first time we've seen this sort of evolved animal, she might have been immune before, but if this thing's evolved, she might not be immune to this new evolution of it. I don't know. I'm
Yes.
just speculating, but
That's a fair that's a fair point.
Yeah.
That is because that's something that crossed my mind because it's like, one, they lingered on this where it's like because we know in the beginning of the episode, nobody in the compound knows except for, like, a select few. I'm assuming that obviously Dina's gonna eventually know. I could that she's I don't know that, but I'm assuming. And, she obviously made the her previous bite look more like a burn, and then she got it tattooed. And then she cuts it so that it doesn't look like a bite mark, which I thought that was super smart. But this whole evolution of these cordyceps, is that something that's in the game?
Mhm. There's
Mhm.
different versions. They get scarier and scarier, I'll tell you that.
Okay,
They
but
do.
like the fact that they're evolving.
Yeah, because you have clickers, you have bloaters, you have stalkers. There's a whole different variety of them that get introduced. Like whenever they came up out of the ground
Yes.
in the first one, like you we're going to get a lot more of that in this
Yes.
season.
Mhm.
But I'm saying, like, the fact that they're, like, fucking almost sentient, like, that's what's because that's, like, a big thing that they're, when they were on trial, it was like or when they were having their little fucking courthouse meeting where it was like, "Oh, they're not just, like, willy-nilly look like hunting, they're evolving to now plan and, like, yes, I guess, like, stalk, but, like, they seem almost cognizant of what they are doing,
Yes,
and that's terrifying to me, which immediately when I saw that, I was like, "Oh, they're like raptors." And they're like
they
in
are
the
kind of like raptors.
in Jurassic Park when they're like they're evolving, they remember. And it's like that's what's so scary to me is that they're like
They
they're sentient now.
they will talk more about that this season
Okay, don't
because
spoil it.
I'm not
Okay.
spoiling anything, but there is something there.
Okay, yes, yes.
I'll leave it at that.
That's very fair. And real quick to touch back on Ellie being bitten again. The show introduces so many interesting characters, and there's so many character storylines and arcs going on at the same time. But the reason that that's so focused on, because I heard you say it lingered on it
Uh-huh.
multiple times, because it did linger on it.
Yeah.
That is also to remind you of the fact that this is Ellie's story. Like you're going to get different storylines, and this one inter doesn't it. This adds to Ellie's story through other characters because this one becomes other people's stories as well. But it
Mhm.
will never ever let you forget the fact that she is the most important person and the most integral part to everything that's happening. Because nothing that's happening would happen if it wasn't for Ellie.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, and then we get to the little like ballroom dance or what was it? A New Year's party.
New Year's party.
That's it. Okay,
With New
so
Year's, yes.
it was a New Year's party.
Also pulled
Um
straight from the game.
I was
Tease
gonna
the tease.
say it
It made me cry.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say if it was in the game because it seemed very like even just the way that it was shot, it seemed like it was like an important part of it. Where this is where her and Dina are dancing, they smoochy, and so we see more of her, especially her evolved as like an older character because it's like when we
Mhm.
see Riley we obviously like you said we get nods, we know that she is probably lesbian and like something, but it's like she's it could also very well be well she was younger too, could be exploring, could be questioning, could be anything. Now she's older, she's an adult, we know okay this is this is her preference, this is her sexual preference, and we're not quite sure about Dina because we know she's dating a man, like, or she was dating a man, Jesse. Which I have a question: is Jesse like a character in the game?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
Ooh. So we know that Dina was dating Jesse. So we're not quite sure, but we see that Ellie is obviously interested in Dina. And then they have a little smooch at the dance. And then this fucking asshole says a slur to Ellie and Dina. And then that's when Papa Joel comes in, and we obviously see that he's still there. He's still trying to protect, but she does the whole I don't like, what does she say to him? Like, "I don't need you to save me," or "I don't need your help," or something like that, which
Yeah.
was so devastating. Is that also a part of the game?
Yep.
Yes, but can we rewind a wee little bit just for
Yes.
context for your understanding because it's going to be more impactful. I cried last night when Dina and Ellie embraced. Like this game emotionally fucking wrecks me. Like let's just say that. But even more important than the smooch and even more important in that scene is what she says to Ellie. When she says about everybody's looking at you, and then she looks her dead in the eyes and says, everybody looks at you as a threat because it basically says you're the most important person in that room. And like what Dina conveyed to her was the importance, just like the bite and the lingering and everything on there. Like always, like kind of remember, it's always going to go back to Ellie and everybody that she affects. And like when she said that, just like, because I already know, you know what I mean? Like I know what's coming.
Yeah.
But like even to hear her say that, and then watch their magical embrace and everything like that was like just riveting. But that's a very important little integral piece. That dialogue is more important than a lot of anything that happened in the episode.
Ooh, okay, that's so interesting. And that also kind of is like a nod to, which again, I don't know, but it seems like possibly this compound might know that there is something special about Ellie or there's something different about her, but they just don't know yet because, she does the whole thing in the beginning where she's like, "Hey, everyone, I'm immune." Well, they're not supposed to know that. Like,
No.
you know what I mean? But obviously, Joel and Tommy, like a select few know it. But I feel like if in this situation, as we see their relationships and like the town, like as we see that more, we're going to see snippets of like, or you would think like Joel is so protective and secretive and like hones in on Ellie, and like there's just like little mysterious things about Ellie, like the burn and all this stuff and where they came from and their like journey and like all this stuff. I feel like the town is probably like, there's something different about this girl. We just don't know what it is yet. And the whole fact that they don't know that she's immune and then they open the episode with that, obviously I feel like they're gonna somehow figure it out. And that's gonna be a whole shit show. And I'm excited. I love that Chuck and Seth are like,
I'm so
we're giving nothing.
But
Nothing.
I'm sitting here and I am so fucking envious of you not knowing. Like, 'cause
Yeah.
I wish that I didn't know. And here's the craziest thing about the game and the show. When the game came out, I got up one day, like, and it was like a week before the game came out. I got up one day and I got on X, formerly known as Twitter, mistakenly in the morning when I was reading my news. And what happens was all over the internet. So before the game got delivered to my house, before I jumped into part 2, I knew. And
That's
listen,
awful. I hate people.
I was so Gigi, like you have no idea how fucking upset I was. Like I was so devastated and upset. Here's the testament to the brilliance of Neil Druckmann and Craig Mazin and this show being written. I went into part 2 and I knew exactly what was going to happen. And everything that happened that I knew still fucking leveled me.
Yeah. Oh my God. See, I love that.
Like, it makes me envious that you have no fucking clue. Like, you have no idea. Like, I wish I was in your shoes, like, because it's awesome.
All
I
we
love
get
it.
is people being like, "Oh, do you know what happened?" And I'm like, "Will you stop? Just let me watch it.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
tease that something big's going to happen." It's like when people are like, "There's a huge twist." No, don't tell me.
Mm.
I'll figure it out when I see it. But
Yeah, because then it's like, then I'm looking for it, which is which I wanna plug in here because Seth and Chuck have played this before, have played part 2. We know we're gonna be very conscious and cognizant of making sure, there's no spoilers because
Mhm.
me and Brian haven't watched it, but also the rest of, other people that are watching it don't know either. So we are gonna be very conscious about making sure that things aren't spoiled, even though they've already played the game. Um,
also, if you comment, please don't throw spoilers in the comments because it's
yes.
fucking gross.
Yes, please
And,
do
pe-
not.
and we're getting to and we're getting to that point that we're gonna have to really watch over it because like even my video last night,
Oh, people were
pe-
spoiling.
well, they're not even necessarily spoiling it, but they're saying phrases
Yes.
that let people know that something is coming. And that's the only thing that I will say, and it's not a spoiler, but there's things that are coming
Uh-huh.
that people may shut the show off and never watch it again. Like they
Okay.
might just immediately be like, fuck this show. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
then there's gonna be people that like get it. You know what I mean? Like, cause
Yeah.
it's I can't wait. That's it.
Yeah. And that's a thing that I was like, it's so hard when like it's like when you've read like a book or like, but I feel like this video game like took over the world. It's like obviously it's a huge beloved like cult video game. They enough to make a huge HBO show
Mhm.
on it, It's like it's so ginormous.
I mean, they
Uh,
they it when it came out for the PS3, then it got remastered for the
Yeah.
4, then it got remastered again, then it got remastered. Listen, I bought this game 5 times for $70 a clip, had no problem. Look, I would buy it again if they did a remastered version.
Yeah.
I would buy it. I would buy it again because it's so fucking and I said that like in my thing, like I think it's like the best single piece of media, like just the
Yes.
way the
Mhm.
story is fleshed out and the decisions that they chose to make, and the fact that there's this whole new audience like Gigi and Brian
Mhm.
who
I'm
have
excited.
no fucking you have no clue, what you're about to embark on, none.
Yeah.
I did want to bring up a couple things. They're not spoilers or anything, but I wrote down some notes when I was watching the episode of things
Mhm.
that happened, like versus the game versus the show.
Oh, yeah.
And the scene with Ellie and Dina when they're about to embark on the like patrol watch, when she
Oh,
grabs the
mhm.
knife, that was pulled from the game.
Mhm.
The knife that was on the counter, and she just like pulls it, and then
Uh-huh.
also when Dina pokes fun at Ellie about the Converse, the Vans shoes that
Uh-huh.
she's wearing, that's also like when they're en route to the grocery store, she's like, "Why aren't you wearing boots in the snow?" She's like, "Well, I got rid of them." So it was like a joke that played in the game that they also played in the show.
Oh, I see. That's so fun. I love that they're so true to the video game for those that are like really looking forward to this. And then it's also like, I don't know, it's like a little thing where you're like, hee hee, I see that and other people
Mhm.
don't. Like, that's so fun. I love that. Um, okay, so then this is when we get to the end because New Year's is done. Ellie storms back into her garage where she's living now. She's not in the house with Joel. Joel is so sad playing his guitar that he fixed for her,
Mhm.
and she doesn't say a fucking word to him. I hate like I get the importance and the significance of them not being as like close this season, but it is so devastating to watch. I can't even imagine like playing the game where that's like so much more in depth and you like are all and you're on like the journey of them like getting closer. But it's like and I just did like my little recap video of it. And so it's like, oh, like you're watching them, on their journey in the first season. They're doing the dad jokes. He does the baby girl, all this, like that is his baby. That's his daughter for all intents and purposes. And then you see, and just boom, it's such a 180 to see her like
Mhm.
almost hate him. She seems like she hates him. And it's just so devastating to watch. And it's like so devastating to see like him try to be a father to her and like he's going to therapy. He's like that weird awkward interaction where he just like goes into her room and he's like, "Oh, well, let me fix it." And then he just like walks out. He's just like, "I'm trying to do anything to have this relationship with you again."
Mhm.
So that just you killed me. Um, and then we get to two important things where the episode is ending.
Whoa.
Huge, major things. The first one being the which I believe that we saw in the beginning, right? Like the guy is like opening the pipe and he's like getting this brush out. That was what they showed at the end, correct? Okay.
I don't
So-
remember.
I don't remember noticing it. Like I saw them cleaning the pipe, and then
uh-huh.
I did wonder like how the whatever those little
Little
things are called,
cordyceps, yeah.
how they came out, but that makes sense now that they dug it out basically.
Yeah, because he was like in the beginning of the episode, he was like cleaning out something or whatever. Because I remember he's like pulling the brush out because I remember thinking this is probably going to come back. Like they're not this show is so strategic. They're not just showing anything for anything's sake, you know?
Oh no.
Yeah. So I was like, this is going to come back. And then we get that at the end. That's what I'm assuming that's what it was. We see the little cordyceps are growing inside of this. So they have reached the town. It seems like it's evolving because I obviously something is going to come up where this is going to probably infect people. Because one thing that I don't understand, which you guys may be able to clear up, is that I guess I just never thought of it until right now, is because they showed the little cordyceps growing. But in the first season, it's not like if they're just walking. I mean, can they just get infected by it, like coming up and touching them?
That's gonna get answered this season.
Okay.
They are gonna they added something in that wasn't in season 1 that should have been in season 1, but it'll be in the
Oh.
season that they'll explain more.
Okay.
But that's also why in season 1, these are two things that I think are important to mention, not spoilers.
Yes.
They don't really know in the first season. So that's why when they go to the zones and there's this, the things in the air, that's why they wear the gas masks and everything like that, because they're not 100% sure, so they're not risking anything. Kind of like COVID. Like people, does the mask work? Doesn't it? I feel better with the mask. You know what I mean? So they wear the mask. My only gripe with season 1 is was the finale. But the finale to me was rushed. Because there's, like whenever it gets up to the point of what Joel decides to do, that scene in the game is like a fucking hour. You know what I mean? Like you're in that hospital, you're engulfed in this shit, making these decisions, and it felt rushed.
Okay, that's fair.
But what I noticed in this first episode is a lot of the stuff that was missing, they're sliding it in there in a different, they're moving the narrative with the things that were missing. And I understand why they're doing it because TV and games play out completely different. So, but I was so happy to see these couple nods that happened, which I'm not going to say what they are because you will eventually get it. But the things that I was like, damn, I wish I would have said this or did this. Like they were in this episode, like they slipped them in there. And I was like, oh shit, this is why they did what they did. So now I like that episode way fucking more.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Because they knew exactly what they were doing.
Yeah.
And that's why they rushed it. And it's for narrative purposes to move the story along.
Got it. Because when I was rewatching the first season, like I was really honing in on the episode where they go to the Firefly, like where we figure out Tess has been bitten, right? Because in this show, we really only know that they get infected if they've been bitten, right? But when the guy is like on the ground and then the little tendrils come up and like wrap around him, I was like thinking, shouldn't they be cautious of those things touching them? Like I was like you would think that like they don't want those things to touch them either, because how do they know it's not gonna like also affect them or like seep into their skin or get into a wound or fucking just like go into their mouth? Like, so I was thinking that, and I was like, so then once I see the ending of season 2 episode 1, I was like, ooh, okay, maybe obviously the tense unsettling music is playing and we see the tendrils coming. I was like, this seems like it's nodding at something like, oh, maybe it's not just a bite that can infect you.
But I think they also said in the first, like, correct me if I'm wrong, is like those little tentacles are like a phone for them, so that'll alert anyone else in the area. So it might just that they touch something. It might not infect you, but it might be like now everyone in the area is aware that there's people around here, so they'll all come rushing in at the same time.
That's true. Yeah, that is true.
Also, that is new territory because that part wasn't in the game. At least I don't remember
Oh,
it being a part of the game. So that's new territory for both me and Chuck, I believe.
That
I
is
noticed
correct.
Yeah.
sorry, the evolved girl, I think it was a girl, like looked like she was smelling with hers when it came out of
yeah.
her nose. But I don't, again, that might just be because it was in her nose. So in my head, it was like she's smelling, and it's just the thing it
They
does. But
they also did it, and it is my understanding from the panel that I rewatched from South by Southwest and
Uh-huh.
everything that I read. So everything that you've said and you're wondering about is all great
Uh-huh.
stuff. So this is the one thing that I will caution viewers.
Okay.
There's a lot of things that you're going to get answers to, but there's no way they could have did part 2 in one season. So they're doing
No.
it in two seasons. So you're going to leave this season and you're going to have some really fucking big questions that aren't answered. But I'm here to tell you the things that they slipped in that were missing from that final episode that they're already weaving in to move the
Yeah.
narrative. So in order to extend, they needed filler. So there are things that they added, like Eugene's wife, like on an extended thing, they're going to go into that, and these things in the pipes and certain other things that they added to not pad it, because I think they're important things that the game didn't have time
Uh-huh.
to expand. But that's why that stuff is in there, because there's just so that game is so big. It's such a like
Yeah. Oh
I,
God.
I think part 2 is I had like 50 something hours into that
No,
game.
Yeah.
even
If
like
not more than that.
it's so fucking long because like the regular gameplay I think is like, oh, it's like, oh, it's like 24 hours. But if you wanted to play like to completion, it's like 50 hours. I was like, oh, I would be playing this game for fucking like 3 years.
Yeah.
Like if I was trying to
Yeah,
do to
I think,
completion.
and I think 20's rushing it. I think
Yeah.
that's really pounding through that game, because it's
It's
at
meaty.
least it's
It's meaty.
it is meaty, and there's scenes and things that like happen that you sit with them for a very, very long time, and there's just so much shit that happens that there's no way they could have did it, and they couldn't have did it in 15 episodes. There's no
I don't
fucking
even
way.
think they can do it in 2 seasons. I think they're gonna have to do 3 to really flesh out
That's
this game.
It's very possible that, or they're going to have hour and a half episodes or something, and then I don't know
yeah.
how they're
It's like
going to do
movie
it,
length.
but I have complete fucking faith
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that they're going to cover it.
this season is only supposed to be like 7 episodes, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy to me because the first one was 9. So I'm surprised that they're doing, but who knows? Maybe it's going to be like 7 and 7 or like 7 and 8.
It's because they're splitting it, and like
Yeah.
I think people that played the game have I don't know. We're kind of split because me and Seth were talking. I was also talking to Cody last night.
Cody who?
Cody Leach, our friend of the
Cody
podcast,
Leach.
the legend Cody Leach, because he's a Last of Us nut as well.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I'm interested in how it plays out, because there's like 4 different things where they could leave this season. And I just don't know how they're going to do it, what they're going to do with it, and when it's going to get to that point. But I'm so excited to see what they do with it, because it's fucking so good. It's just good.
Okay, and then the very last thing that happens is we obviously see Abby and her squad roll up. Well, I mean, they're like hella far away, but they're getting closer and closer to the Wyoming compound. And oh, we just see her like, even though she's in this like super posh, like big ass like winter coat, like with all the fur around it, she looks bad ass. Like she has hate. Hate is driving this girl, and I can't wait to see. I love a maniacal bitch, and she looks like a maniacal bitch. She looks crazy. I'm so excited. And that's where the episode ends, as we see that Abby and her group is nearing the town, and I can't fucking wait. And you guys know, but we don't know, and I can't wait.
I'll take the 5th on this one.
No comments here.
No comments.
Mm-mm.
So what are your guys' individual thoughts? Brian, I'm gonna start with you. What is your individual thoughts on episode 1 before we
Uh,
wrap it up?
I loved it. I just finished rewatching season 1 the day before, and as soon as I woke up, I was like, I need to watch it, even though technically it's not released in the UK till tonight. But
Oh,
yeah, yeah, we'll call the police. But the only thing that kind of, because I just watched all of season 1, and then you see Ellie in season 2, and it's like she doesn't look like it's been 5 years past, and I was like, oh, she still looks like 14-year-old Ellie.
Yeah,
Even though she's
yeah.
21, she just got a very young face. So when she just gets punched straight in the face, I was like, whoa, she's just a kid, come on.
She's
Like,
just a baby.
yeah, but she's not. But I really despise the hate that she gets online for her casting in it, because she is so good. Like the bits where even she's just getting a hug from Dina, and you can just see in her face, she's just like, oh my God, I want this woman so bad. And like she's portrayed it brilliantly. So I'm so glad that she was Ellie over whoever else these nerds online wanted.
No, I agree. I also wanted to clarify, I know that Bella Ramsey, their pronouns are they, them. And so, but
sorry.
Ellie, no, that's okay. Ellie's is she, her. So I know it's going to be kind of, it might be hard to like interchange those, but we are cognizant of those. But yes, I love Bella as Ellie. I mean, I didn't play the game, but I think that they're an incredible actor. But I thought the same thing when they were like, "Oh, 5 years has passed." I was like, "But Ellie still looks the same, except like her voice is a little different. You could tell that she's like, she's matured a little bit more because I had just finished the season." But yeah, Seth, what are your thoughts?
It's funny that you guys both bring up how good that they are, because like thinking about it, because I know people wanted Bella to play Abby and like vice versa, Caitlin Dever to play Ellie. Like that was one of the
Oh,
big things. They wanted those roles reversed. But after seeing Caitlin play Abby and how
mhm.
perfectly she embodied that character, and knowing what I know for the second game, I honestly like the acting for both of those um, people, I think is like perfect for their roles. I don't think that them flip-flopping would have ever worked. I think that they are perfect for the roles that they are. And I'm
Yeah.
really excited to see the journey that they're going to take everybody on.
To be fair, they're both very talented. I'm sure they could have done
Yeah.
either role.
Yes.
Oh, I
Yeah.
do, but I don't like knowing what I know. I don't think that's the case, especially
Yeah.
for Ellie's journey,
I agree.
And
especially for Ellie's journey.
I
I
also oh, sorry.
no,
Go
no,
ahead,
no. Go
Chuck.
ahead, Gigi. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I can totally understand as far as like physique and like everything like flip-flopping.
Mhm.
But as far as like again with like facial acting, it's like Ellie does have this like softer look. Like I feel like where it's like, okay, she started as this like kind of like rough around the edges, like girl, like, but she still like has some sort of like innocence to her where she's like, really wanting to find like a like security blanket. But Caitlin Dever's face is like, she's like fucking, she's got that like maniacal look to her. I mean, she's
Mhm.
like gorgeous, but like she can look hardened, like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I think that casting, again, haven't played the game, but I think the casting is really good. Go ahead, Chuck.
The only thing that I'll say to end the episode or wrap up is I'll use Johnny Depp as my explanation. Johnny Depp has played a variety of different characters. Sweeney Todd,
Mhm.
Pirate Jack. He's played all these different things. Every movie I've ever seen Johnny Depp in, I've always said that's Johnny Depp. Like I
Yeah.
never felt it was something else. When I look at Pedro Pascal, that's Joel Miller. And when I look at
Yeah.
Bella Ramsey, that is Ellie. And when I seen Caitlin, that is fucking Abby. And I will
Yeah.
never look at those characters. I don't care what they do for the rest of their lives. That's who they're going to be because that's how fucking good they are because
Yeah.
they are these characters that I fucking love.
Yes. Kind of low
Yeah.
key like Daniel Radcliffe. He's
Yeah.
Harry Potter. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like even a Swiss Army Man, I'm like, why is Harry Potter farting in a lake? You know what I mean? Like, because he's always going to be fucking Harry Potter to me. Yeah, I agree.
Literally. Oh my God.
But
Oh.
But yeah, I love the episode. I'm really excited what they're gonna do next. My only gripe was the opening with Abby getting introduced to Abby, but other than that, everything else was fantastic.
Yeah. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I'm glad that you guys have played the game to answer my questions because the only question I had, I was like, why are they lingering so long on this like supermarket? Even though I loved it because it's like it was spooky, but I was like, this seems like more important than I know of. But I loved it. Any last closing words?
Buckle the fuck up.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for joining. Again, we are going to be switching our release schedule just during the time that The Last of Us will be airing. If you please comment, like, rate, but just remember, if you comment, do not leave any spoilers. Theories are totally okay, but if you've played the game, just don't confirm nor deny.
We will
We
block
just
you.
yes, we will be deleting and blocking because that's not fun for anybody. We want to keep this fun. We want this to just be like a nice open conversation about like the biggest TV show that's going on right now. We're all very excited as game players and non-game players. But thank you so much for tuning in. Again, like, share, rate, comment. We love you. We will see you next week. We hope you have a great rest of your week. Bye.
Bye.
Don't eat mushrooms.